Samantha West had never imagined that one day she would find herself alone on an alien planet, far from the comforts of Earth. As an astrobiologist, she had studied countless alien species, but nothing could have prepared her for what she was about to encounter. It all began when Samantha and her team were sent on a mission to explore a newly discovered planet, Zeros. The planet was covered in dense jungles and towering mountains, a place where few had dared to venture. The planet's atmosphere was breathable, making it ideal for exploration. But something had gone wrong. A sudden storm had hit, and the team was separated. Samantha, being the most experienced among her group, had to rely on her training to survive. She had little choice but to press on, knowing that the rest of the team was somewhere on the planet, waiting to be rescued. But in the midst of her search, she discovered something unexpected, something that would change her life forever. It wasn't long before she stumbled upon a clearing, where a strange figure lay unconscious. At first, Samantha thought it was one of her teammates, but as she got closer, she realized that it wasn't human. The creature before her was tall, almost as tall as two average humans stacked on top of each other. Its skin shimmered in shades of blue and silver, and its features were smooth, almost too smooth, like the surface of a perfectly polished stone. The creature was not moving. Panic surged through Samantha's chest. Was it alive? Was it dangerous? There was no way to tell, but she couldn't leave it there. Samantha knelt beside the creature, her hands trembling as she reached out to touch its arm. The skin was warm to the touch, and she felt a slight pulse beneath it, confirming that the creature was alive. She quickly looked around, hoping to spot any sign of danger, but the jungle was eerily quiet. With no immediate threats in sight, she decided to try and help. She carefully dragged the creature to a nearby cave that she had spotted earlier. It was small, but it would provide some shelter from the storm. Inside, she laid the creature down on a bed of leaves she had gathered, making sure it was comfortable. Samantha had studied various alien species in her career, but this one was unlike any she had seen before. It wasn't just the size or the skin color. It was the energy that seemed to surround it. There was something otherworldly about it. She couldn't quite put her finger on it, but she knew that this creature was far from ordinary. After a few hours of carefully observing the creature, Samantha began to notice something strange. The creature's breathing was becoming more regular, and its limbs twitched as if it was waking up. She backed away slightly, giving it space. But her curiosity got the better of her. As the creature's eyes fluttered open, Samantha froze. Its eyes were the most striking, featured deep, glowing purple, like two shimmering orbs that seemed to see straight through her. For a moment, neither of them moved. The creature simply stared at her, its gaze intense and unblinking. Samantha didn't know what to do. The creature, though not hostile, seemed cautious, unsure of her intentions. She raised her hand slowly, trying to show it that she meant no harm. "Hey, it's okay," she said softly, though she wasn't sure if it could understand her. "I'm here to help." The creature blinked, then tilted its head to the side, as though processing her words. After a moment it spoke, but its voice was not what Samantha expected. It wasn't human. It was deep and resonant, a voice that seemed to echo in her mind rather than in her ears. "Who are you?" the creature asked. Samantha's heart skipped a beat. She had no idea how it could communicate so clearly, but she couldn't back down now. "I'm Samantha," she said, her voice steady. "I'm from Earth. You're not from around here, are you?" The creature nodded slowly, as if considering her question. "No," it said. "I am Kivak, of the Girv. I am lost." Samantha's mind raced. The Girvi were a race of beings known for their intelligence and strength. They had a reputation for being distant and reserved, seldom interacting with humans or other species. But they were not considered hostile, and their advanced technology had helped humanity in many ways over the years. But why was Kivak, a member of such a proud race, stranded on this planet? "How did you end up here?" Samantha asked, kneeling beside Kivak. Kivak's expression darkened. "I was on a mission with my people, but we encountered trouble. Our ship was damaged, and we crashed." I am the only one who survived." Samantha's heart went out to him. Alone, stranded on an unknown planet with no way of contacting his people. It must have been terrifying. She couldn't leave him here like this, but she also knew that helping him wouldn't be easy. "We can try to fix your ship," she said. "Maybe there's a way to signal for help." Kavak shook his head. "It's too damaged. I am afraid I will not make it off this world." Samantha felt a wave of determination flood over her. She couldn't leave Kavak here to face whatever dangers the planet had to offer. She wasn't sure how, but she would find a way to get him back to his people. Over the next few days, Samantha and Kivak worked together. Samantha used the tools in her kit to help patch up Kivak's injuries, while also scanning the planet's resources for anything that might help repair the ship. Kivak, though weak, shared his knowledge of alien technology, and Samantha learned quickly as they worked. Samantha noticed something unusual about Kivak. It wasn't just his intelligence, it was his resilience. Even in his weakened state, he displayed an incredible capacity for problem-solving. His mind worked faster than hers, despite his injuries. Samantha couldn't help but marvel at how different, how extraordinary he was. But there was something else. Something about Kavak that made Samantha uneasy. She couldn't quite explain it, but there was a sense of danger lurking beneath the surface. Something she couldn't put her finger on. One night, as they sat by a small fire, Samantha looked at Kivak with a mix of admiration and concern. "Why did you help me?" she asked. "Most Gyre don't care about humans. You could have easily ignored me and gone on your way." Kavak's purple eyes seemed to soften. "I have seen the way your kind lives. You are driven by hope, by something that I cannot understand. It is ... strange, but it is also powerful. I wanted to see it for myself." Samantha felt a lump form in her throat. She didn't know what it was, but something about Kivak's words made her feel that they were connected in a way she couldn't explain. For the first time, she allowed herself to hope. Maybe, just maybe, they could make it off this planet together. Days passed, and the strange bond between Samantha and Kivak continued to grow. Their lives were now intertwined, each depending on the other for survival in this alien world. Samantha had managed to help Kivak recover from his injuries, and in return, Kivak shared his knowledge of Giver of technology. The work they were doing together was difficult but rewarding, and every day they got closer to making Kivak's ship operational again, as they spent more time together. Samantha began to notice subtle changes in Kivak. He seemed stronger, his movements more fluid, and his mind sharper. It was as though his body and mind were healing at an extraordinary rate. But there was something else, something she couldn't quite explain. At times his eyes would glow brighter, almost as if they were reflecting some deep internal power. Samantha couldn't ignore the feeling that something was building inside him. One evening, after a long day of work, Samantha sat beside the fire they had built in their small cave. Kivak was sitting across from her, his legs crossed, staring at the flames. His usual calm demeanor seemed to be hiding something deeper, something troubling. "Kivak," Samantha began, her voice soft but filled with concern. "I've been thinking. I know you said your people were in trouble when your ship crashed, but there's something I don't understand." You're not telling me everything, are you?" Kivak didn't immediately respond. Instead, he continued to stare into the fire, his eyes flickering with an odd intensity. Samantha waited, knowing he would speak when he was ready. The silence stretched between them, thick and heavy. Finally, Kivak looked up at her, his eyes locking with hers. "You're right," he said quietly, his voice carrying a weight she hadn't heard before. "There's something I didn't tell you, something I've been trying to keep under control." Samantha's heart skipped a beat. She leaned forward slightly, her curiosity piqued. "What do you mean?" she asked. Kivak took a deep breath, his chest rising and falling in a way that almost seemed unnatural. "When my people reach a certain age, we undergo a transformation. It is a process that makes us stronger, faster, more capable than anything you could imagine. It is called the Zareth. It is when we become the full potential of our kind." Samantha frowned, confused. "But you're still young. You don't look like you've undergone any transformation. You don't look any different from when I first found you." Kivak nodded, his expression serious. That's because I haven't. The Zareth is triggered by intense emotional or physical stress, and that is what I fear. The crash, the isolation, and you. You have made me feel something I haven't felt in a long time connection. Trust and ... fear. Ah, Samantha was taken aback. Fear. Why would you be afraid of me? Kivok's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, Samantha saw a flicker of genuine fear in his gaze. When the Zareth begins, I lose control. My body changes. My mind changes. I become something ... else. I can no longer guarantee that I won't hurt anyone, even you. Ah! Samantha felt a chill run down her spine. She had known there was something different about Kivok, but she hadn't expected this. He was telling her that if she pushed him too far, if his emotions became too overwhelming, he could become something dangerous, something that might destroy everything around him, including her. So ... What does this mean? She asked quietly, struggling to keep the fear from creeping into her voice. Kivok looked down at the ground, his hands clenching into fists. It means that I am a danger to you. I don't know how much longer I can keep this under control. The transformation could come at any moment. Samantha's mind raced. She had to think of a way to prevent this from happening, to save Kivok from the power he feared. She couldn't let him lose himself, not after everything they had been through together. But how could she stop something as powerful as the Zareth? I won't let it happen, Samantha said, her voice steady despite the fear rising inside her. We'll figure this out together. There has to be a way to control it. There has to be a way to keep you safe. Kivok shook his head. You don't understand. It's not something that can be controlled once it begins. It is ... inevitable. Samantha didn't know what to say. She felt helpless, but she couldn't give up. Not on Kivok. Not on everything they had been through. What if we try to prevent it? What if we stop you from feeling too much? Kivok looked at her, a flicker of hope in his eyes. You want to stop it before it starts? Yes, Samantha replied, nodding firmly. We'll find a way. We've already made it this far. We can figure this out together. For a moment, Kivok was silent, weighing her words carefully. Then, slowly, he nodded. If there's a chance, I will trust you, Samantha. That night, they worked together in silence, continuing their efforts to repair Kivok's ship. But as the days went on, it became clear that something was changing. Kivok's strength grew every day, and his need to push forward to work, to fix, to survive, became more intense. Samantha could feel the tension in the air, like a storm waiting to break. Then, one afternoon, as they worked on the ship's damaged power core, the air around them seemed to shift. Samantha didn't notice at first, too focused on the task at hand. But then she felt it, a surge of energy, like a static charge, running through the air. It was as though the very atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Kivok's breathing had become labored, heavy, and his eyes glowed brighter than ever before. Samantha looked up from the ship's components, alarmed. Kivok, she asked, her voice tight with concern. He looked at her, and for the first time, Samantha saw a flicker of something alien in his eyes, something distant. Something dangerous? I can feel it, Kivok whispered. It's starting. Samantha's heart skipped a beat. She could see it now, his body trembling, the power inside him beginning to grow uncontrollably. She had only a few moments before the transformation took over completely. Kivok, listen to me, she said urgently, stepping closer to him. You don't have to do this. We can stop it. We can still find a way. Kivok's eyes flickered, and for a moment, she saw the person she had come to care about, the alien child she had tried so hard to help. But then, just as quickly, it vanished, replaced by something cold and distant. I'm sorry, Kivok murmured, his voice barely audible. I can't stop it. It's too late. Samantha's stomach twisted with fear as the air around them seemed to crackle with energy. Kivok was no longer the alien child she had been helping. He was something else entirely. Something powerful. Something beyond control. The air crackled with energy as Kivok stood frozen, his eyes glowing brighter with every passing second. Samantha could feel the tension building like a storm ready to explode. She had seen this kind of power before in her studies, but nothing had prepared her for the raw energy now radiating from Kivok. His body was trembling, his muscles bulging with untapped strength, and she knew that the transformation was no longer something he could control. It was happening. Samantha's heart raced. She stepped forward, her voice trembling but determined. "Kivok, you can still fight it. Please listen to me. We can find a way." Kivok's eyes flickered, and for a moment she saw a flash of recognition. His gaze softened, but the power within him was already taking over. "I can't." His voice was barely a whisper, strained with the weight of his words. "It's too much." "I don't want to hurt you," Samantha's mind raced. There had to be something, anything that could stop this. She couldn't let Kivok lose himself, not after everything they had been through together. But the more she thought about it, the more she realized that maybe it wasn't just about stopping the transformation. Maybe it was about helping him control it. Maybe he didn't have to lose himself after all, Kivok. "Listen to me," Samantha said, her voice steady despite the fear in her chest. "I don't want you to fight this alone. You're not alone. You have me. We can do this together." Kivok's body tensed, and for a moment it seemed like he would give in completely. His hands curled into fists, and a low growl escaped from his throat. The ground beneath them seemed to tremble as though the force of Kivok's power was causing the very planet to react. Samantha felt a wave of dread wash over her. The transformation was reaching its peak, but then something unexpected happened. Kivok's trembling slowed. His breathing became more controlled. The energy that had been swirling around him began to dissipate, and his eyes slowly returned to their usual purple glow. No longer the blinding white of raw power, Samantha didn't move. Her eyes locked on Kivok, her breath held in suspense. "What's happening?" she whispered. Kivok's voice was shaky but clear as he spoke. I'm holding it back. I don't know how, but I think I'm starting to control it." Samantha's heart skipped a beat. Could it be possible? Could he actually keep the transformation from consuming him entirely? She stepped closer, keeping her voice soft but firm. "You can do this, Kivok. I believe in you." For a long moment, the two of them stood there in silence, the air heavy with the tension of the moment. Samantha could see the effort it was taking for Kivok to maintain control. His muscles were still tense, his body still radiating energy, but his expression had changed. It was no longer one of fear or desperation. It was a look of determination, something she had never seen from him before. Finally, Kivok took a deep breath, and the glow in his eyes dimmed to a calm, steady shine. "I did it," he whispered. "I can still feel the power, but I'm in control. It's not taking over." Samantha couldn't help but smile. It was a small victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. "You did it, Kivok. You're stronger than you think." Kivok turned to her, his expression softening. "I didn't think it was possible. I thought I would lose myself. But you gave me the strength to fight it. You made me believe I could control it." Samantha reached out, placing a hand on his arm. "It's not just me, Kivok. You've always had that strength inside you. I just helped you see it." Kivok's gaze shifted to the horizon, where the distant lights of his ship flickered in the twilight. I think I'm ready now," he said, his voice filled with a quiet resolve. "I'm ready to face what comes next." Azanta nodded. "Then let's get you home." Together, they made their way to Kivok's ship. The damage was extensive, but with the repairs they had made, it was now functional enough to get them off the planet. The two of them worked side by side, Samantha helping where she could, and Kivok using his advanced knowledge to finalize the ship's systems. It wasn't easy, but they didn't stop. With every passing hour, they came closer to leaving the planet that had brought them together as the ship finally powered up. Kivok turned to Samantha. "Thank you," he said simply, his eyes filled with gratitude. "For everything. I didn't think anyone could help me, but you never gave up on me." Samantha smiled, her heart swelling with emotion. "You never gave up on yourself either. We both made it through this." The final glance at the planet they had both come to know, the two of them boarded the ship. As the engines hummed to life, Samantha couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. They had faced something unimaginable together and had come out stronger on the other side. But she knew that this was only the beginning. As the ship lifted off the surface, soaring into the sky above, Kivok looked at Samantha, his gaze steady and filled with newfound trust. "This is just the start, isn't it?" he asked. Samantha nodded. "Yes, there's so much more out there, Kivok, and now we face it together." As the ship sped into the stars, Samantha realized that, in the end, it wasn't just about saving Kivok. It was about finding something more. Something that transcended the boundaries of species and galaxies. It was about the connection between them, the bond that had been forged through trust, courage, and the belief that, no matter what, they would never face the unknown alone. And as they disappeared into the vast expanse of space, the future stretched out before them, filled with endless possibilities. Together, they would explore the stars, each new adventure more thrilling than the last.